Welcome to the second show of Cause This Is How We Get Down. Today we have a Boricua special where we're cooking Puerto Rican food. And we have here pernil, which is the most succulent, fabulous roast pork shoulder with lots of Puerto Rican spices. We have our gandules rice, which is just so good. I just love this rice. Flavored with many of the flavors that we have in our roast pork. And we have this fabulous potato salad over here that's just so good with delicious spices and ooh, very, very tasty. And we have some of our bread from my friends. A big up to my friends at Seatown on Weathersfield Avenue. The girl told me at the register, it's banging when it's hot, and it is banging. And we have a friend who brought us this cortillo, which is a wine from Spain that I'll be serving with this dish. It really holds up well to the pork. So, it's my infamous red velvet cake with a cream cheese frosting, and it's absolutely to die for. It's right here, and let's get cooking. Let me show you how I made all this food. So, as I stated earlier, this is our tribute to Puerto Rico and Boricua. Welcome back to This Is How We Get Down. And as I stated, we're doing pernil today, Spanish style, Puerto Rican. And we're doing Spanish rice and beans, which are going to be absolutely fantastic. We're going to do potato salad to go with this dish, and my infamous red velvet cake and cupcakes. I have my assistant Maritza Rivera here because this is her recipe. She does the most fabulous pernil, and she showed me how to make it really, really well. When I do Puerto Rican pernil. Sometimes I do Dominican pernil, but that's for another show. Welcome, Maritza, because this is how we get down. What up? Mwah, mwah. Maritza, what do we have here? We have our pork shoulder.
We got a sofrito.
Sofrito.
Pimienta, pepper.
Pimienta, what do you call these in Spanish?
Pimienta.
Pimienta, okay.
Sazon.
Sazon, which is a staple in Spanish cooking. We have some garlic and some adobo. Y'all know what's up. You know what I'm saying? Maritza.
And olive oil.
And some olive oil. Maritza is from Martin Luther King, Dutch Point. What up to all our people out there who know about Martin Luther King, Dutch Point. So, Maritza, how do we get started with this marinade?
We have to cut the pork.
Okay.
Okay. The sofrito.
We cut the pork. No, just,
okay.
Do how you do.
Okay.
We want to see how this is done in the hood. So you're putting slits in the pork.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
To put all the sofrito and all.
And this has been washed,
yes.
correct? Okay, because we wash our meat. I don't know about everybody else, but we wash our meat. Okay. Uh-huh. And of course, she has impeccably clean hands. All right, get that shoulder. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So you putting these slits in now. Why are you making these slits in the meat?
Because when you put the seasons in there, it tastes better, and all the season goes between the bones too.
So all those flavors get into the meat,
yeah.
Which we're gonna marinate overnight before we cook this bad boy.
It's like when you do the rice and beans. You do the same.
What do you do?
If you add pork in the rice, you do the same.
Oh, that's news to me, y'all. But I have my own rendition of this dish, and everybody does it differently. We're just going to clean up over here a little bit. All right, so you put a lot of slits in the meat so that the garlic, the sofrito, and the marinade that we're going to do gets down into the bones and makes this meat taste absolutely fabulous. Okay, so we've got our meat all ready and prepared. We're gonna move that aside, and We got our little food processor over here, and what are we gonna do with this?
Oil.
Well, go ahead. How much olive oil would you put in for that? Is that enough?
Yeah.
How much is that? That's not even quarter cup.
Remember, this is.
I'm gonna put some more in here. Maritza, I'm using about a quarter cup, y'all. Okay, I'm gonna doctor up her little recipe, so.
Get this up.
Okay, so you want this a spoon for the sofrito? And how much sofrito are we gonna put in?
You only put 2 spoons.
This pork shoulder, what is this? 6 pounds, 7 pounds?
Yeah, you only use 2.
So you use 2 tablespoons of the sofrito, okay, and then,
Adobo.
okay, and let's see how much of that is gonna go in. Oh, that's a lot. Okay, so that's
Now
about
remember,
a tablespoon of
when you put
adobo.
adobo in the meat, all the liquids takes all the seasoning.
Okay. And then we have our peppers. What are we gonna do with those?
I have to cut them.
Okay, go ahead. Now, you taking? Are you putting the seeds in here?
No, you don't put the
Are
seeds
these
in.
hot peppers?
Let's hope not.
They're not hot. They're Spanish peppers, right? It's not like those habaneros I used on the last show. That was some hot stuff.
Yes.
Okay, so we're gonna put those in. She's taking the seeds out, and we're gonna use those.
You could grow these seeds outside.
You can?
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna reach over here, Maritza, and grab the garlic, because we're gonna put that in. We have about 5 cloves of garlic that's gonna go into our mixture. And then
Put those
we have some sazon. Y'all know about this now here. This here's some Goya sazon, okay? Goya, okay? Can you say Goya mira? Okay? That's what's up. And we're gonna use 2 packets of this. Of our sazon and get that in there. Oh, it's all smelling so good already. Just delicious. Okay, Maritza's going with those peppers. Yeah. How many of those are we using?
You're using
5?
Yes.
Okay.
Because when you put.
They're very inexpensive things, about $1, $2 for a whole package of them. Just put them in one of those green bags and put them in your refrigerator, and they keep very, very
Fresh.
well. Yes, they do. For a long time. We're going to be using these, and all of this, these are the same seasonings that we're going to be using in the Spanish rice and beans. Okay?
Okay.
Except we're going to be cooking our beans and making our own beans. Okay, so are we ready here?
Mix it.
We're going to mix this up. Okay, how we doing here, Maritza?
That's good.
Good?
Yes.
All right. I just love these machines. They're absolutely fantastic. They do a great job. Careful of that blade because it is very, 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 very. Ooh, look at that. Sharp. Ooh, look at that. Look at that. We got some paneer going on. Marissa, we're going to use all this, right?
Yes.
And she's going to get her hands dirty. I ain't getting my hands dirty today. Let her do it. Look at all that goodness. This is all going, and we just want to get every bit of this lusciousness up in here so we can get this pork going. Okay. There we go.
Now for my.
There she goes, everybody. Oh, you're pushing it into the slits.
Yes. Now I turn it over.
Carefully. Whoa. Wonder Woman. Boricua girl.
You put this overnight, next day tastes great.
Really?
Yes.
Now we could cook this now, right?
Yes.
But we're not going to because we really want this meat to marinate and to start to absorb all these flavors. When I take this out of the oven, this is going to be cooked at 250 degrees. I'm going to put it in the oven about 6 o'clock in the evening. And I'm going to take it out of the oven the next morning. And y'all gonna watch that blade just pull right up out of that pork, baby. I'll tell you, we gonna do some eating. So, you getting it all in there?
Yes.
Look how she's massaging this meat. I'll tell you. Go ahead now, that's Boricua. This is about Puerto Rico, y'all.
Okay, you need a foil?
We're gonna use some plastic wrap. How about that? Okay, so you just cover this with plastic wrap, and this is gonna go in the refrigerator overnight. We're gonna take this bad boy out. So we're just gonna
Wrap it up.
get this on nice and tightly wrapped. This is going in the refrigerator overnight, as I stated. I'm gonna take it out of the refrigerator. Here's the roasting pan that this bad boy is gonna be up in. We have this grate so that it can get nice and crispy. This is going in the oven, like I stated, for about 10 hours on a very low heat at 250 degrees. And when we come back, we will be pulling this thing out of the oven, and it's just gonna be absolutely fantastic. We're gonna get down with our Spanish rice and beans. Gandules.
Gandules.
Gandules, okay?
Gandules.
Okay, say it in Spanish. What is it?
Ajo con gandules.
Ajo con gandules. And we're gonna be making some potato salad, and we're gonna get down with my red velvet cake and my red velvet cupcakes. Don't go away, we'll be right back. So here we are, welcome back. We have our paneer. We've taken it out of the oven. This, as I stated before, we marinated this overnight, 24 hours, to get all those flavors coagulating together. And now, then we took it and we put it in the oven overnight. We put it in the oven about 8 o'clock, Maritza, last night. And just took it out the oven. We're going to put it back in the oven under the broiler so that this beautiful skin on top can get nice and hard and crispy and become pork rind. So let's get our paneer back in the oven. There. That's gonna get nice and crispy, and it's gonna be absolutely delicious. And Marissa's gonna be joining us shortly to do the gandules rice and beans, Spanish style, right, Maritza?
Yes.
In the meantime, I'm going to get started with some very delicious potato salad. My Aunt Charlotte makes the best potato salad. She's a fan of the show, and she's going to come on the show and make her potato salad for us because it's absolutely to die for. Delicious. The celery flakes, the Dijon mustard, the pickled relish, all of it's come together nicely. I'm going to clean this up, get some eggs on top. And when we come back, we're gonna start our gandules, rice and beans, and our triple layered red velvet cake. Don't go away. Welcome back. We've got our potato salad garnished with some eggs, some parsley, and some paprika. I'm gonna place some saran wrap on this and get this in the refrigerator so that it can chill. And all these flavors will coagulate together and it'll be absolutely fantastic. As I say, succulent, fabulous. So let's get this in the refrigerator. Here. Now, let's get started on one of the other stars of this show, which is my red velvet, triple layered red velvet cake. We're gonna begin over here with, right here I have a cup and a half of buttermilk, and to that I'm gonna add 3 eggs. I like to break my eggs in a bowl just to make sure that I don't get any of those shells in my food. And I'm gonna add the eggs to our buttermilk. These are the wet ingredients. Okay, and to that, I'm going to add some vanilla. And we need a teaspoon of vanilla. Y'all know, ain't no need in measuring all this foolishness. Y'all know how we do around the way. I'm going to add, now I am gonna measure this because I want a teaspoon and a half of this distilled vinegar. That's what gives red velvet its velvet texture. And I'm using a teaspoon and a half here. Everybody wants this recipe, Lord. So here it is. To this, we are going to add some red food dye. Now, you have to be very careful with this stuff. It is. And because I'm doing a triple layered, I'm adding 3 tablespoons. So it gets nice and red. There's 1. And that's about a half. I'm gonna get some more here. Two and 3. Make sure you don't get that on you. That red dye will never come out. Trust me, this stuff will never come out. It'll come off your hands with a little alcohol, but other than that, forget it. So I'm gonna whisk all these ingredients together. The eggs, the buttermilk, and the dye, as well as the vanilla flavoring. Get that all whisked in. And I am going to take, now, and your ingredients should be room temperature. This is room temperature butter. It could be melted for the purpose of this cake, but I'm gonna throw 1 stick in here. And I'm going to add, I like to use this for my little spatula, and I'm gonna add our wet ingredients to that. All that in, that's in, and I'm gonna start our mixer on low. Okay, now we're gonna start with the dry ingredients for this cake. This is 3 1/4 cups of all-purpose flour, and I'm going to get that sifted. My aunt told me that my strainer was ghetto, and I said, you know, that's what the show is about. You know, we may not have everything that we need, but we make do. We get it done. My little ghetto strainer works, or sifter, or whatever you want to call it. And somebody had the nerve to talk about my pots. If you want me to have all clad, send it to me. This the hood. We cook with what we need to. As you know, y'all know like I do, shoot, sometimes the best food come out of some of them old rickety pots. Okay, so we've got that sifted in. We've got This is 1.5 teaspoons of kosher salt. We're gonna add to that. We got 1.5 teaspoons of baking soda. There's no baking powder in this cake. The soda is what gives it its rise. We're gonna sift that in, and we need, let me see. I'm going to use my little Pampered Chef Duitsies. Remember, they let you go to different levels. I'm gonna use 1.5 teaspoons of cocoa. Let's see, that's 1/2 teaspoon right there. Get that in. Sift it nicely in. And these are our dry ingredients as usual. I'm going to just take a wire whisk and whisk all this together. One other thing we need to add to this cake, which keeps it really, really moist, and that's some oil. All these is oil. I need 1.5 cups of really good vegetable oil into our wet ingredient mixture. One. And that's about 1/2. Don't want to forget that oil. And now we can start to add our dry ingredients. You don't want to mix this too much. Add it slowly so you don't get flour everywhere. Oh, there we go. And if you find out that it comes out a little too dry, all you need to do is to add a little bit more buttermilk to it. And stop. So we've added our dry ingredients to our cake, but we almost forgot to add the sugar. This is, we need 1.5 cups of sugar, and this sugar's been strained as well. Into our cake it goes. This is a 1/2 cup measure that I'm using, and that goes in. Perfect. There, we have that, and now we're gonna have some hands over here. I'm gonna spray these cakes. I'm not gonna flour them. I'm just gonna spray them with some butter spray. And let's get our mixture in. Now we have to try and get all of this evenly. I guess you could use a scale, but there's really no need to. I don't think. These bake at 350 degrees. I have an oven that's already preheated for about 35 minutes. Let's get them in. So, when we come back, we are going to start our gandules, rice and beans, Spanish style. This is our Boricua show, because this is how we get down, all about food from the hood, and we're celebrating Puerto Rican food here in Hartford today. Don't go away, stay tuned. Welcome back to Cause This How We Get Down in our Boricua show. This is our tribute to Puerto Rico and Puerto Rican cuisine in Hartford, Connecticut. We're gonna now start on our gandules, rice and beans. Maritza, how do we begin? We have this nice big pot.
Oh yeah? Put in here.
How much oil are we gonna put in?
Nothing.
It's your recipe.
Check a little oil.
Now we have 5 cups of rice, so that's about maybe a little more than a 1/4 cup of oil that she's put in there.
Then we put the sofrito.
The sofrito, okay, we need to get the sofrito because that's over here. Let me grab some sofrito out of the refrigerator. There. Para rican barigua. And we're gonna add, how much of this are we gonna add to? 2 tablespoons?
Yeah.
I'm trying to get it up in here. You know what I'm saying? This is about some Spanish eating. So what is that?
Sazon.
Okay. Go ahead, add the sazon to our mixture. I got some of these, just a little bit of the leftover onions from our potato salad, and we're gonna add those too. You know why? Because we don't waste.
Then we're gonna add adobo.
Now what about our garlic in these things?
We have to cut them in pieces.
Okay, so we need to get to our blender, and we're gonna blend these up while Maritza is going to rinse the gandules. And tell our guests, our viewers, Maritza, what gandules are.
Gandules are beans. Most our nation use the beans, gandules.
So they're pigeon peas.
Pigeon peas.
Now, are we using the seeds here? How many of these, what do you call these again in Spanish?
Pimienta.
Pimenta, and we're gonna use 2 of these pimentas. This is the gandules. I ran around trying to find gandules. I didn't know what gandules was. They, pigeon peas, Lord Jesus. Just give me a little knife over here. And you're gonna add the gandules to the rice?
Yes.
Okay. I cut these up.
I have to shake it. Make sure that it gets the taste, the flavor.
Okay, we got our our little Spanish peppers. That's what I call them. And we got some garlic in here. And we got that all blended up. And we're gonna also add this to our rice mixture. And we got the heat going here. I just turned it back up to high. We want to get all this in. This is just deliciousness. We're using 3 cloves of garlic. Remember, we're feeding, this is for about 10 people. Right, Maritza? So, for every cup of rice, you figure 2 persons. So, come on, Maritza. And we're gonna, so while that is going, we're gonna rinse the rice.
Right.
Because of the starch in the rice, we want to take some of that out, right, Maritza?
Yes.
This is going to be absolutely succulent and fabulous. And by the way, I must say, I got some bread from Seatown. I'm going to tell you about that bread in a minute. So, is now when we add our rice?
Our rice and we add our water.
Or do we need to get this going a little bit?
Water.
It's over here. Do we need to get this going some more? We have water in the kettle here that's been boiled. One of the things that I do.
Excuse me?
No, get in there. All right, so she's got the rice in, and I'm gonna let her finish this dish, Maritza. One of the things that I do, living over here in the Coat building, is to boil my water. I find that when you boil your water, just boil yourself a pot of water, let it cool, And you can use the water for coffee, for ice cubes, and those other things. Anything that's in the water will be boiled out. Anything that's not healthy. So I always keep a pot of boiled water in my kettle. So what do we got going on here? Now, does this meet the 2-finger rule?
You need the cover that is sit there.
Okay. Now, what I usually tell people is that
remember this rice
2 fingers. Okay? That's the amount of water you want in this rice. You don't want too much water. And I got that from Daisy Martinez. You know, she can cook. So if you use the 2-finger rule, you know you got the right amount of water in your rice. And now we're just gonna cover this. Did we put our adobo in?
Yes, we did.
How much adobo did you put in?
Put enough.
About a couple of tablespoons? Okay, excellent. We're gonna cover this now. We're gonna let this simmer. And when we come back, we're going to get our cakes frosted. We're going to sit down and have this fabulous meal, which is a tribute to Puerto Rican cuisine here in Hartford. Thanks for watching. We'll be right back because this is how we get down. Thanks, Maritza, for being here. It was excellent. Welcome back to Cause This How We Get Down. So now we've got our fabulous red velvet cakes out of the oven, and it's time to put this frosting on them. And this, I'm paying tribute to Paula Dean on this one because this is actually her frosting. So what I have in this bowl is 4 cups of confectioner's sugar, which I'm going to sift so that we don't want any lumps in your frosting, trust me. There we have it. And in this bowl over here, I have 2 8-ounce packages of cream cheese. You guys know what I say all the time, use the really good stuff. And I think that this recipe goes very well with our Boricua theme today. 1, it's red. 2, you know, it's got cream cheese and everything that's good in it. And we're going to get this frosting together and frost these cakes so we can get to eat. There. Now, let's cream this cheese. And we're gonna add some butter to this recipe. Paula Dean is so decadent. She calls for 2 sticks of butter in her cream cheese frosting. It really is good though. And people who eat my red velvet cake always say that it's the frosting that makes my cake. So, we changed things a little bit. For the sake of time, we've done just a regular double layered cake, not our triple layered cake. We're not going to be so grand today, but you can make this cake triple layered. You can make it into cupcakes or whatever you like. It's very good. Kids love it too, as well as adults. I can't tell you how many people are chasing my family and people around for the recipe to this red velvet cake. They just absolutely love it. And that's because it's so moist with the butter and the oil in it and really good cocoa. You can't skimp on these kinds of things. And like I said, the cocoa that I got at Whole Foods, it really is high quality and the price is most agreeable. So we've got the butter and the cream cheese whipping up here. To that, I'm gonna add about a tablespoon. There's my little pampered chef, DeWicki. I hope they send me some of these things. I'm gonna add about a tablespoon of good, pure vanilla extract. Okay? No imitation here, people. And now I'm going to begin to add the powdered sugar. Very slowly, or you'll have sugar everywhere. This is, I always have stuff everywhere anyway. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what I do. It's always all over the place. So, I mean, you know, not a lot you can do about that. But just slowly in. Here we go. Let that incorporate. Add some more. Let that incorporate and add some more. We're gonna stay with our theme of red and hot body equal Hartford and add a little food coloring to this to turn this a different color, much as I did with the breast cancer awareness cakes that I did in the cupcakes. Let me get some of that. Oh, there. Now this should turn us a nice little color. Most people think it's like strawberries in the cake or something. It's just red dye. So that's mixing, and here we have our cakes. Now, I'm gonna take one cake and flip them both over actually. And I'm going to stop this. Powder everywhere, powdered sugar. Get that off. And go back to incorporating this and making sure that all that cream cheese and butter and all that goodness is just mixed together wonderfully. There. And now we're ready. This, I have to tell you all, and I just told my executive producer, my least favorite task, frosting cakes, but here we go. Now I've got this platter and I've got some wax paper under so I don't mess up my presentation. I'm gonna take the frosting and I'm gonna splatter it on. Just get enough to cover the cake and the sides of the cake. So, just going out like that, out and around, and there. And we're gonna get our other one, and we're going to put this just like that. Now I know I probably should wait for this to set, but that's not gonna happen. I'm gonna get some more of this. This is the most delicious frosting, it really is. So it's gonna set and it'll get harder, and I'll go back around that. What I'm going to do right now is get me a plastic bag so I can do a little piping. You need a bowl, and take your plastic bag, set it over your bowl so I can make a vessel for this there. And I'm just gonna take this, squeeze it all down, just a little snip with some scissors. I have no idea where my cooking shears are. And I can do some piping just around the cake, like so. Just trying to be a little fancy. There. And to that, I have some fabulous strawberries here, which I'm just going to nestle in the middle of our cake. Now, that one's wrong. It should go that way, and around like that, and around like that, and around like that. Then, I'm going to get more fancy, because I have some extra frosting, and I'm going to try and go around the bottom of the cake with a little line. And you'll be able to see that I'm squeezing, just putting a little border around the bottom of the cake, coming all the way around. That didn't work out too well there. Let me pull this around and push my frosting down and go with my little border in the bottom. So there. Now, one more thing, and that is I'm going to take a spoon, just a regular spoon, and I'm going to go around the cake with this little spoon, creating just a little design. Just a simple design around the cake with our spoon. And this frosting hasn't completely set up yet, but it will. So, here we go. So much for the design we were looking for before. And around, and around, and around, and around, and around. There. There's our red velvet cake. So, let's bring this over to the table. Welcome back to Cause This Is How We Get Down. We've got our panini here, and Maritza is going to carve the panini while I cut up the skin so everybody can have a bite of that. So, Maritza, why don't you take off the skin? She's an expert at this. Like I said, this is her recipe, and she is the teacher who showed me how to do Boricua food. I always wanted to know how to do gandules rice, and thanks to Maritza, I know how to do that. So, here we are carving off what to most people is the best part of the panini, and that's the skin, the cracklings. Cuarito. Okay, so here's our fabulous platter that we're using, Williams-Sonoma, and not very expensive. Big up to the people of Williams-Sonoma, some basic stuff. No, I'm kidding. Okay, so now, and I'm gonna take this and go off and cut it while you guys watch Maritza carve the panini.
Should I get a plate or something to put the meat in?
Sure, just keep carving, okay? And I'll be right over with the cracklings so we have better come hungry.
Okay.
I'm gonna work on getting the rice ready, our gandules rice. Absolutely succulent. All those flavors from the sofrito and the garlic and the sazon and the adobo and just the cilantro with the sofrito to die for. You just have to give this recipe a try. Welcome back to Cause This Is How We Get Down, our Boricua show. I have my friends here who are enjoying some wine and going to enjoy this fabulous dinner with us. And I'd like to introduce my friend, Louis Valentine, who is one of the Puerto Rican artists in Hartford. And Louis has been gracious enough to bring some of his works over here to share with us. Why don't we start with this one over here, Louis?
Sure.
Now, what was the inspiration for this piece of art? It's so beautiful.
Well, when I was growing up in Puerto Rico, I always was really obsessed with the shanties in Puerto Rico, the little houses that people lived in, and I used to document them, I used to photograph them. And my family and friends always used to say to me, "Why do you always show the ugly part of Puerto Rico?" And I said, "No, I see beauty in these shanties." So I decided to take the photographs and color them, paint them over them, so I can show what I actually saw, the beauty in them.
Fantastic. It is absolutely beautiful. The lines and the colors are absolutely exquisite. Why don't we see some more of Lewis's art? It's fantastic. And this piece over here, I saw this piece when I went into Lewis's gallery the other day, which is in his home, and I just dropped that gorgeous, hello people, Hartford. This is the kind of talent we have here in town. It is perfect. Tell us about this piece of art.
Well, I like to say first of all that my training is not painting. So my training is photography, but I always wanted to go beyond the photography. So what I usually do is I just go ahead and do my thoughts on the painting. And this one is kind of like what I was feeling that day. This is talking about how I felt that I was having a hard time seeing my voice, my inner voice. And that's when you see lucidez there, is the ludicity of myself and how I see myself. So this is kind of like a self-portrait.
And what does all this mean? Does it have meaning?
This is actually code. This is just the way that I express what I'm feeling, and this is more of talking about color, the color that I see when I'm trying to visualize what I feel. This is obviously me, and Bacalar is a place in Mexico that I used to go a lot to get inspiration. It's very
gorgeous,
place to me.
absolutely fantastic. I just have to have it. And you should try to acquire some of this art too. Latino artists, all the craze. And Lewis does a wonderful job. Let's see another one of your pieces.
Sure.
Look at this one over here.
Now this one is about simplicity. One of the things that really inspired me is simplicity. And this photograph here actually is something that I borrowed from Jack Delano. He was a photographer who actually, his son teaches in Trinity College here in Connecticut. And he went and documented Puerto Rico in the early 50s. And I borrowed this photograph, and that was the main inspiration of this painting. This is really talking about the simplicity.
It's absolutely gorgeous.
Thank you.
Absolutely gorgeous. I mean, that is fantastic art. Louis Valentine, everybody, and we're going to get another look at a couple of his other pieces that he's been so gracious enough to bring here to us for our Boricua show. Stay tuned. Welcome back. We're now serving the food. I'm here with my friends. This is our Boricua show. We're having our Puerto Rican meal of pernil, Spanish rice and beans, gandules, potato salad, and our banging hot bread from T-Town. For dessert, we have our double-layered red velvet cake. And so, how is everyone enjoying the meal?
Delicious.
I love the skin. It's perfectly crisp.
Meat is so tender. Wow.
It cooks for about 10 hours.
10 hours.
Well, it's Marissa's recipe.
Very good.
She's a very good cook.
The rice is really good, really good.
You like the gandules?
I love the gandules.
Delicious.
What about you, Ian? What say you?
It's like nurturing my soul.
Let me try the rice.
It is. I don't know. I need
That's
this.
good.
Ian, have you ever had gandules before?
I have, but I don't know, man. This is.
It's like it's your first time, huh?
It's everything all together is just adding up to something really nice.
Well, I'm gonna try the potato salad because it's been, you know.
It was so warm today too. This is like picnic food.
Right, this is a cross between my aunt's potato salad, my aunt Charlotte, who I'm begging to come to the show and do her potato salad. It is the best. But it's got some Spanish spices in it. I think it's good.
I think it's delicious.
Not too many pickles. It's right in my onions and spices. to give it really good depth of flavor. And it just stands up so nicely with the pork, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's got zip, you know?
It's got a little crunch to it. It's perfectly cooked.
Well, I'm gonna stop because I want to try the cake. You know I love dessert. And here we are with the red velvet cake for dessert. Let's see what that's like. So here I am with my red velvet cake, and I'm gonna taste this for you all to see what we're dealing with here. Nice and moist and so creamy. Delicious. Oh, I just love dessert, and I wanted to taste this red velvet cake for you all. I'm here with my friend Joanne, and we're gonna have a taste together. Joanne, tell me what you think.
That is delicious. Very moist.
It is very moist, isn't it? And the flavors just hold up so well, don't they? Thanks for joining us, everyone, for another segment of This Is How We Get Down, our Boricua show. I want to thank my guests and my sponsors. Remember, food is a cultural connection, because this is how we get down, food from the hood. See you next time.